Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, you're a grandfather. Congratulations.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Thanks. I just can't believe I have a grandkid before the age of 50.
I mean, I can't believe that either.
Yeah.
I just want to know one thing. Have you changed a diaper yet?
No, that's not.
What are you waiting for?
No, not in the letter of agreement that I changed the diapers. No. Can I shout out to the kid, Wilbon? Can I shout out?
Yes, of course.
To Walker Thomas Kornheiser? I'm very familiar with walkers. When I go to assisted living, I'll be using one.
You'll have one or two.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, did Magic put too much pressure on Lonzo Ball? Is Cody Bellinger this good or just hot? And was John McEnroe out of line about Serena Williams? But we begin today with the league that won't go away and the approximate 700th straight day of Paul George stories. This one has George going to Cleveland in a three-way deal where Kevin Love ends up in Denver. Wilbon, putting aside the particulars of this deal, would Paul George going to Cleveland make the NBA better?
I don't know about the NBA. I don't want to tackle the NBA. It makes Cleveland better, maybe. And I say maybe because Kevin Love has a set of skills that certainly work with the Cavaliers, as we've seen, to the tune of a couple of finals and a championship. So, 3 years in a row. So that works to a degree. Now, I understand Cleveland wants to and needs to get better. I just wonder, Tony, whether Paul George, who doesn't have to have the ball, but he has it more than Kevin Love. How are he, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James going to make that work? And these are guys who want to win championship. I understand they'll work at it. But I don't even know if it makes Cleveland better. I don't need to tackle the NBA.
I think it makes the league better. I absolutely think it makes the league better because there's an incentive now to say that maybe by adding Paul George, they get to a position where they can challenge Golden State. I think more important than whether it makes the league better is what does it say about Cleveland? It says Cleveland is in desperation mode. Everything Cleveland does is to keep LeBron James, all right? Because LeBron James has not said the following sentence, I intend to stay. So if you get Paul George, you're thinking if you're Cleveland, maybe we win a championship, and if we win a championship, we say to LeBron, hey, this is a championship team. I think both you and I agree that both Paul George and LeBron James are going to L.A. That's the way we see it at the moment, right?
Well, yes, Tony. But, of course, if they could get to Cleveland and win, they could say, you know what? We're here. We won. We got the stuff around us. So I don't think it's written in stone. But, Tony, just let me say this. Cleveland's also desperate to just hold on to being Cleveland. At first, it's not about catching the Warriors. It's about staving off the Boston Celtics, too. And I don't know how much better you think they got or didn't get with the draft.
Well,
I think
if you get Paul George, you do that. Look, the latest report is that Cleveland may be able to sign both Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony, which would be a team that the slogan across the chest would be, you don't know.
But they have to be bought out.
Yeah.
They have to be bought out by the Knicks and Bulls, respectively.
They'd be gassed by February. It's like they'd be the oldest team in the history of mankind.
Suppose they don't get there till February. See, that's a more likely scenario to me.
Okay, then they'll be gassed by April. Come on.
Turns out LeVar Ball isn't the only person with huge expectations of Lonzo Ball. Magic Johnson, in the wake of taking Lonzo with the number 2 overall pick, had this to say at the kid's introductory press conference.
We want to start building a successful team, and you have to have a great leader and somebody that can make their teammates better, somebody who has incredible basketball IQ. His IQ is off the charts. And I'm going to put a little pressure on you right now. You look to your right, there's some jerseys hanging on that wall. We expect a Ball jersey hanging up there one day, all right? All right, good.
Tone, is that too much pressure to put on a rookie joining a team with the Lakers' illustrious history?
Okay, so let me be clear about this. 100%, 200%, 1,000% no. There is nothing that Magic Johnson can say to this kid that comes close to the pressure that his father has put on him already. His father said that Lonzo Ball is better than Steph Curry. I'm amazed the kid even ever walks out on the court with all of that, but he walks out on the court and he performs. It's going to be easier for him, I think, in the NBA than it was having a father around all the time the way it's been for the last year or two. So, no, it's not too much pressure. Maybe you think it is. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think – I'm not going to say it's too much. But, Tony, your old man running his yap and Magic Johnson saying, I got some expectations, those are two entirely different deals. I mean, all of our parents have expectations and hopes. But when you get to the big time or whatever your industry is, I mean, this is like, if Ben Bradley or Bob Woodward said something to us versus what our parents said. You go, whoa, wait a minute. That's a whole different deal. You know what? Magic, I think, set the right tone here because he believes in this kid. He sees not just some Jason Kidd in Lonzo Ball, but some, at least a little bit of himself in Mr. Ball.
He should.
And I think this is the proper thing. It's a high bar, and Lonzo has said that that's what I'm trying to do. He said, I admire the kid for that.
Here's what's going to happen within the next 2 or 3 years. Lonzo Ball will run that team because he's a really good natural point guard who likes to pass the ball. And he'll be passing the ball to Russell Westbrook and Paul George and LeBron James. Yeah, because it's just luxury tax, and Russell Westbrook will be happy to not have to do everything out there.
It's not just luxury tax. Trust me, it ain't Russell Westbrook, but your point is well taken. There are going to be guys there who come to that team who want to play with him.
Exactly.
And he understands how to use teammates already at his tender age. We agree on that. Look, Tony, I can't wait to watch the kid. I just thought watching him in college was different than watching everybody else.
Me too.
Magic obviously feels that way more importantly.
Yeah. Dodgers rookie Cody Bellinger hit 2 more home runs yesterday as the Dodgers won their 10th game in a row. Now, this was the 6th time this season that the 21-year-old had a multi-homer game. Bellinger has 24 home runs in the 57 games he has played. Wilbon, rookies usually cool off around the All-Star game, certainly after. Do you expect that with Bellinger?
Yeah, and I'm not even going to say cool off, Tony. I'm just going to say he's not going to be able to continue to do this because no one in the history of baseball, this is not a movie. This is not The Natural. This is not fiction. This is Major League Baseball. And guys get paid a lot of money and have a lot of pride and competitive instinct, and they're going to figure out how to do a better job, not shut him down. But if they figured it out for Ruth and Gehrig and all up through the entire history of the game and Mays and Mantle and Bonds and, well, maybe not Bonds so much, but you know what I mean. He's not going to stay this hot because he can't.
Yeah, I think that the rookie home run mark is Mark McGwire with 49. And I'm not sure they can get 49. Bellinger's on pace for 50 right now in a shorter amount.
Not in that stadium.
But the second most is Frank Robinson with 38. And I think both Aaron Judge and Bellinger can do that. I think they're going to be in pennant races because they have good teams, and people are going to have to pitch to them and try and get them out because their teams are good. And I think they have a chance to go over. I think both of them have a chance to go over 38. The Dodgers are 42-13 when this kid starts. That's fantastic. Yeah. I know you think the Nats are the best team in the National League. Nats ain't that good. There's nobody they got that's 42-13. That's great.
Tony, a lot of people picked the Dodgers to start this season, and they weren't counting on this. They weren't making those projections with a rookie. I mean, not just a rookie. This is not a rookie having a fabulous year. This is a rookie having an historic year.
Well, there's two of them.
We're talking about him every other day.
And Aaron Judge is in,
and Aaron Judge,
in the same
with the
category.
Dodgers specifically.
So the book on this kid now is to throw fastballs at him. He's batting like 236 against fastballs and 176 against inside fastballs. So I assume that we're going to see nothing but a diet of fastballs.
Diet.
Right,
starting tonight. Starting right away. This is what they're going to do. They're going to figure out other holes. They'll find new holes that the kid didn't know he had because that's what major league pitchers and catchers and managers conspire to do.
I think they can both get to 40 homers. I do. I think both of them can.
40's hard in Dodger Stadium, but maybe, Tony. Jordan Spieth posted a win yesterday in Connecticut. That was both dramatic because he holed out from the bunker to win a playoff.
Fantastic.
And historic because he joined Tiger Woods as the only player in history ever to win 10 times on tour before turning 24. And in a sport still trying to find a dominant figure, people are once again excitedly comparing Spieth to Woods. Yes, both won 10 times before turning 24, but Tiger won, get this, 15 times in 70 events, and Spieth has won 10 times in 112 events, which means the win percentage ain't close to close. Tony, is comparing Spieth to Tiger Woods even a fair standard?
No, it's a dumb thing to do. For a 10-year period of time, Tiger Woods was the greatest player in the history of golf. Let me say that again, the greatest player in the history of golf. He won 13 of his 14 majors in a 10-year period. Only one person has more majors than Tiger, and that's Jack Nicklaus, and the entire span of that was 23 years. Jordan Spieth's very good. I watched that thing live yesterday. It was great to watch. But you can't go out and say of Rory McIlroy or Dustin Johnson or Jason Day or Jordan Spieth every time they win, you can't, he's the next Tiger. No, we're not going to see that for a while. We're not.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of this weekend, but when you told me this morning on your podcast that Spieth had holed out. I said, well, let me see what this is about. And, of course, everybody goes crazy for one win. I mean, that shows you how great Tiger was, Tony. Nobody went crazy over one win. You went crazy over entire summers, for God's sake. So one win was never that impressive unless, of course, he was 20 shots ahead of the field, and he sometimes was. So people do this. This is talk about too much pressure, which we talked about with Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
That is certainly the case with either one of the guys you said. And Rory McIlroy, by the way, shooting 64 yesterday and finally playing 4 rounds. I mean, Rory wasn't even making the cuts. So don't tell me that Rory and Spieth and Day all together, they don't add up to Tiger Woods.
When you're on this level, you can win all the tournaments in Hartford that you want. But since hitting 2 balls into the water at number 12 in Augusta in 2016, Jordan Spieth, and he hit another one this year in the pond, he's not finished in the top 10 in any major. So when you get to this elite level, it's about how do you do in majors. I mean, and that's how he would expect to be judged, and that's how we're going to do. I mean, you'd trade 12 John Deeres for U.S. Open, right? I mean, come on.
By the way, you were in Connecticut. Were you there in person? Did you go watch?
I was in Connecticut in person. Yes.
Oh,
I was not
Just
at that
checking.
tournament
Thought
in person.
you might have been there.
No, I was in the state of Connecticut waving to the people. John McEnroe, your boy, is catching a lot of heat for something he said on NPR about Serena Williams while promoting his new book. In the past, McEnroe has called Serena the greatest female tennis player in the world. He did the same in this interview, and then he was asked why he felt the need to use the qualifier of best female player. So let's listen to McEnroe's response.
Well, because if she played the men's circuit, she'd be like 700 in the world.
You think so?
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't think Serena's like an incredible player. I do, but there's, the reality of what would happen on a given day. Serena could beat some players, I believe, because she's so incredibly strong mentally. But if she had to just play the circuit, the men's circuit, that would be an entirely different story.
Wilbon, your reaction to all this?
It's the truth. Why is this an issue? What? I mean, seriously, are people so stupid that they have to pursue their agendas more than they have to look at reality? Serena said this. Was it Letterman or somebody she was on?
On Letterman.
Serena said all these things. She said, please, I'm not playing you to whoever the championship caliber male tennis player was.
It was Andy Murray. She said she'd lose love and love in 5 to 10 minutes, so she's not going to do it.
See, so Serena and Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert and all the great women who play tennis and have played, they're not questioning this. And so people that feel there's a need for their political correctness to rule the day, shut up. It's just like Michelle Wie, who people almost ruined her career because they wanted her to play against the men. Just stop.
No, I agree with this. Maybe he shouldn't have said 700. Maybe people are focusing on 700. But 10, 20, 30, 40, and that's what it would be. I mean, it's like the question is flawed. You don't ask this question. You don't go to the WNBA champion and say, well, don't you think you could beat the Golden State Warriors? No. No.
The agenda driven. Either you got an agenda and you want to be provocative, or you're an idiot. Those are the two choices. Because you're not paying attention. You're not dealing with the reality of sport and
that
physicality
note, let's take
physiology.
A break. But coming up, did Tom Brady make one of the more impressive throws of his career this weekend?
No. Speaking of reality. And did Tim Tebow earn his minor league promotion? You want me to answer that one too?
Go ahead, take a shot at that.
No.
Why did I know that was coming?
Pardon the Interruption is brought to you by Gillette, the best a man can get, and Taco Bell's limited edition Double Chalupa.
It's mail time, and if you're just joining us, Wilbon is in Chicago, the town where Jimmy Butler used to live. Let's see what's first.
Mail time. He still lives here. He ain't gone anywhere yet, Tony. You don't have to leave town.
Did Tim Tebow earn his promotion to high A?
Well, considering that Tim Tebow is hitting 222, 3 home runs, 23 runs batted in, and Sandy Alderson himself said it's not like he's tearing up the league. No, Tony, not particularly. I don't want to jump on Tebow. Tebow's just playing ball. He didn't run his mouth. He didn't say anything. But the Mets, this is about marketing. This is about trying to sell some tickets, and they have no squad. They're 11 games behind the Nationals. They're going nowhere. You promote Tim Tebow, you get some talk, you try to get back on the back page later in the summer when you call him up. That's all this is.
Yeah, let me pick up on that point. He's going to be called up in September because you want to sell seats, and he can sell seats. You have to get him ready for coming up. You got to go to high A, then you got to go to double A, because double A is where the prospects really are. Tebow is performing wonderfully in the sense that he's sincerely playing minor league baseball.
He's out there.
Does he deserve this? No, that's not the question. He's coming up.
He's not selling seats in baseball. Nobody's buying a baseball ticket to see Tim Tebow. He can sell tickets throwing a pass.
In New York, they will, because that's the reason to see the Mets.
Yeah.
Did you like what you saw out of the debut of the Big Three League?
Well, I haven't seen anything yet. I mean, the games were taped yesterday, and I think there were 4 of them or 5 of them, and they'll be, we'll see that broadcast later tonight if you want to watch.
White chocolate
but here's
leaving
what was
the
impressive.
Game.
Yeah, white chocolate going out. Allen Iverson didn't play as many minutes as some might have wanted to see him play. There were 15,000 people, who came to see. Then they go to see Tim Tebow. They went to see stars of yesteryear, and they must have been happy. It was like a day in summer league where you go, you get some music, some concerts, some flavor, some ball, and you hang around for 5, 6, 7 hours.
This is an important concept. If that is sustainable, if those were actually bought tickets in Brooklyn and not the house being papered, they have a future if that's sustainable. They got to cut it down. It can't be 5 hours long. Nobody's going to sit around for 5 hours to watch a nostalgic thing from 50 years ago.
It can be 5 hours. It can.
Too
and
long.
It will be.
Too long.
No, it's not too long because you're thinking about going to a regular ball game for 2 hours.
Too long.
This, Tony, is a different culture, and 5 hours is about right.
Too long.
Something you know nothing
Was
about.
any part of you surprised that Tom Brady pulled off a pressure throw in Japan?
First of all, it wasn't a pressure throw. I mean, calling it a pressure throw in Japan is like saying that Serena Williams could be in the top 100 of male players. Neither one would be true. So this young lady hits about, I don't know how long that pass is, 12 yards, maybe something like that, 10 yards. And then Tom Brady lofts one up, something he's done literally tens of thousands of times. And, of course, he makes it because he's Tom Brady. 20 out of 32 quarterbacks would hit that same pass. It's not a pressure throw. It's nothing. It was fun.
Yeah, I think Tom Brady makes that throw probably 7 out of 10 times, dropping it right down the chimney like that. This is, if you're asking, are you surprised about this? Would you be surprised if Michael Jordan made a jump shot when he was 31 years old? No, you wouldn't be surprised at that. Would you be surprised if Roger Federer got a first serve? And no, that's Tom Brady, okay? It's Tom Brady. He's the golden boy.
Not everything is shocking.
Last one.
Was Kevin Millar's home run legitimately impressive?
Now, Millar, Tony, retired, 10 years ago? And he said he's had no live pitching in 2 years
8
except
years
for his
ago.
son tossing him a few.
8 years ago.
So he retired 8 years ago?
Yeah.
All right, so he goes up and he gets this like a 76-mile-per-hour hanging curve.
Yeah.
Something that you'd see like in a Pony League game. And he hits it out because, once again,
One at bat,
Kevin
Mike.
Millar's got World Series rings.
One at bat. It's his only at bat. He's back
he
in
only
the
needs
minors
one.
in a team he used to play for.
He only needs that one swing. He's 76-mile-per-hour hanging curve.
I'm not as cynical as you. I think it's lovely. I think it was a real pitch. I think it was a real ballpark. I think it was a real at bat. He's 45 years old. You still have enough power at 45 to hit one out. I mean,
Yes.
Phil Mickelson's 47. He hits at 310 in the air. So you can do this. I think this is a great moment. I think Millar will talk about it incessantly. So
It's
would
fun.
I. Enough
But
email.
let's not act like, it's Babe Ruth.
Let's
going
take
point
one
and calling
last
the shot.
break. Still to come, should the Wolves really be looking to deal Ricky Rubio?
Yeah, they're not going to need him playing backup point guard. And will Joel Embiid win Rookie of the Year at the NBA Awards tonight? We finally find out the MVP, Tony. Aren't you excited?
No. Do you think they really sold 15,000 tickets, or you think that was paper?
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
The Interruption is brought to you by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Send us a big box of those. I like those. Happy time, people. Happy 25th birthday, Rudy Gobert. He's French and he's large, and so his nickname, the Stifle Tower, is fabulous. The Utah
Best in the
center
league.
was named to the NBA All-Defensive First Team today. Tonight he will find out if he is the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Tony, he's a finalist with Draymond and Kawhi Leonard. I voted him first team All-NBA center. He's that high in my estimation.
That's all that matters to me.
They made the playoffs.
Happy anniversary, Lloyd McClendon. On this day 16 years ago, while managing the Pirates, you protested what you felt were 2 bad calls at first base by actually pulling out the base and taking it with you after being ejected. This is known in the trade as pulling a Lou Piniella. Wilbon, I never get tired of managers doing this.
Yeah, I used to. Now I'm tired of it. It's just theatrical now. Has no other purpose, Tony.
Happy trails to a walkless 2017 for Kenley Jansen. After recording a record 51 strikeouts this season without issuing a single walk, the Dodgers reliever finally gave one up to Rockies third baseman Nolan Arenado. Jansen went almost 3 full months without a walk, and to put this in perspective, Jansen, who almost never bats because he's a closer, he has 2 hits this year. He has more hits than walks given up, and his ERA is 0.83.
It's all going great for the Dodgers, too, Tony. Dodgers-Nats, when do they play in Washington?
It's late. It's in September. It's
mid-September?
Yeah, it's late.
That's one worth going to see, those games, that last series.
Well, obviously you don't think the Cubs are worth seeing because you're in Chicago and they're here.
That's right.
Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Timberwolves reportedly intent on trading Ricky Rubio. Smart move?
Well, if they're really going after Kyle Lowry, they're not going to need Ricky Rubio, Tony. They won't need him at all. The Giants have lost 12 of 13. Your thoughts?
They're usually great in the even years, not the odd years. They have fallen off dramatically, though. The Twins swept the Indians. They are back in first place in the AL Central. Are they there to stay?
No, there's plenty of back and forth time to go, and you got more than half the season still remaining. The Mavericks are going to decline their $25 million one-year team option on Dirk, but they want to keep him, sign him to a new deal. Is that fair, Tom?
My sense is that Mark Cuban and Dirk Nowitzki will work out a deal that is very equitable. Cuban is good in that regard. Last one, the NBA awards show is tonight. Who do you have in the big awards, Mike?
Westbrook, obviously MVP. Malcolm Brogdon, I have for Rookie of the Year. And Draymond Green for Defensive Player of the Year, Tony. Those are my picks.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts, Grandpa.
Steve Madison and Steve O, Golf Club Avon. Shout out. I can't play.